Seattle hockey fans, Erica Lindsay Ayala here, your host of your only daily Seattle Kraken show. We've got a lot to talk about. Tonight, the second round of the 2022 Stanley Cup Playoffs takes place. I'm going to let you know the matchups. We're going to hear from Jordan Eberle. It was his birthday yesterday, but we're going to hear from him today in his exit interview and why he's excited for next season with the Seattle Kraken. And we're going to close out talking about the Charlotte Checkers. Now, the Seattle Kraken might not be in the playoffs, but our AHL team and our co-parenting, who we're co-parenting with, the Florida Panthers, they are in the Stanley Cup playoffs. The Charlotte Checkers are in the AHL playoffs. So we are going to talk some postseason when it comes to Seattle Kraken prospects. That and more coming up on this episode of Locked on Kraken.
You are Locked on Kraken, your daily podcast on the Seattle Kraken, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
We are the Seattle Kraken.
All right, Seattle hockey fans, we are back over at Locked on Kraken. Yesterday was a travel day for me, so we missed the official birthday of Jordan Eberle. That was yesterday, but we're going to celebrate today. We're going to hear from him in the next segment. But let's first get to the business that we saw from around the league. We had a bunch of game sevens, not just in the NBA, but in the NHL as well. So we're going to go over the Stanley Cup playoffs and who advanced, because the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs starts tonight. And I, for one, am very glad that the concert that I'm going to tonight was not negatively impacted by the schedule. But first, let's take you to who won out. And we'll do that by going over to NHL.com. Look at what we got here. Now, we knew about Colorado. We talked about Colorado. We talked about the St. Louis Blues last week as well. And if you did not see the series against Dallas and Calgary, Calgary gets it done in overtime. It was a goalie duel, and it was absolutely fantastic. Your Boi-Boi Calle Jarnkrok is going into the second round after the Calgary Flames defeat the Dallas Stars. Then, of course, we talked about this. I wanted to see Los Kings advance, but it's Edmonton that gets it done. That was another Game 7 win. We're going to head to the other side of the bracket. I talked about the New York Rangers. They were able to get it done. Another thriller, another thrilling overtime game. The Rangers win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Carolina Hurricanes take care of the Boston Bruins. And then once again, folks, the Toronto Maple Leafs get stymied in the first round of the playoffs. It's the Tampa Bay Lightning that make it an all-Florida affair as they advance, meaning that they will play the Florida Panthers. That series starts tomorrow because the Panthers were able to oust the Washington Capitals. So that is what the bracket looks like. Let's talk a little bit about the schedule. So I alluded to this, but we have today, Tuesday, May 17th, you've got the Tampa and the Panthers series, almost at Tampa and Florida, but they're both in Florida. So you've got the Lightning and Panther series, both teams based in Florida. Some history to be made. I was in Florida over the weekend, and lots of very happy producers at my production studio for some other stuff that I do. 7 p.m. is the puck drop. That's Eastern time. So 4 p.m. Pacific, Tampa Bay versus Florida. The other series that starts tonight from the Western Conference is the St. Louis Blues at Colorado Avalanche. That is a 9:30 p.m. puck drop Eastern time. We can see these So for the games tonight, it's going to be TNT, Sportsnet, CBS, and TVA Sports. For Wednesday, tomorrow, so we'll talk about the matchups a little bit in more detail. We'll get the results from tonight's games. We'll talk about the matchups of tomorrow's games. But tomorrow, you've got the New York Rangers at Carolina, and you also have in the Western Conference, it's the Edmonton at Calgary series that's kicking off, or we dropped the puck, I should say, on that series on Wednesday. So I don't know if there were any surprises necessarily that stood out to me. I think we got some great hockey. I think it's kind of wild that the Stanley Cup Playoffs goes to a 7-game series so early on. But that means by the time you get to the final, it's a grudge match. It's all about who has put in the work, conditioning wise, who has maintained their health throughout the playoffs in particular. Because unfortunately, I mean, if you look at what Tampa Bay is dealing with, we obviously saw the Rangers have had some scratches. It's all about staying healthy, and that's going to be of the utmost importance. And then it's just that mentality, right? That mental game. We've talked about it a few times on Locked On Kraken and how important the mental game is. If ever, it's when you have a 7-game series throughout every step of the way. Stanley Cup has to be one of the hardest championship trophies to win. I think it's probably too many games, in my opinion, but also there's not enough games if you see like the one and dones on the women's ice hockey side professionally, or NWSL, or even the WNBA that starts with single elimination and then a 3 and 5 game series respectively for the semifinals and final. You want the most at the end, but I don't know if we need 7 in the first round. That's just my opinion. Let me know what you think. You can always comment to me directly or to the show at Locked On Kraken. Speaking of comments, Locked On Senators has been doing their mock drafts, and I saw that I was asked if we here at Locked On Kraken are going to do a mock draft. I'm open to it. So question of the day, do you want to see a Locked On Kraken mock draft? Now, I don't know. I want to know what you think, because I'm definitely going to be talking about prospects that could go at 4 and who I like, who my pick would be. But do you want to see a full board, or do we want to just focus on the Seattle Kraken picks? Let me know. We'll figure out what makes sense and probably get some experts in the field to talk about that if it's something that we want to talk about. So let me know what you think at Locked On Kraken or at elindsay08. But coming up next, we're going to hear from the man, Jordan Eberle. Now, we're starting to get we're going to hear from the man, Jordan Eberle. Celebrated a birthday at the top of the week. Happy birthday, Ebs. But I love his mentality. There are better days ahead. And that's what we believe here at Locked On Kraken about the Seattle Kraken. But don't take my word for it. Let's hear from Eberle coming up on Locked On Kraken. Before we get to Ebs, let me tell you about Built Bar. Before my trip, I'm traveling. That's why we've got the virtual background here. But I'm on the road, and my latest shipment of Built Bar just came in, including the birthday cake puffs. Imagine, we talked about this, just dipping your finger into delicious frosting. I personally like the batter of cake batter, but either way, cake frosting, cake batter, it's just this lovely, luscious, velvety taste. And then you can realize that now you can have that same feeling, but with the birthday cake puffs, and only have 150 calories overall, while also 16 grams of protein. Birthday cake puffs, nothing like it. Never had anything like it, but in a good way. Protein infused puffs. We've talked about the puffs before. Birthday cake, one of my favorite things. I just had a birthday. We're celebrating Ebbs's birthday, so it's on brand for sure. Again, this is 150 calories in your one Built Bar, 16 grams of protein, 9 grams of sugar in this limited time flavor, but it's an amazing option to take on the go. I have a concert later today. I told you I'm glad that the NHL is not messing with my schedule, but you best believe I'm going to pack some Built Bars to have as I'm waiting for the main event at Madison Square Garden. I'm so excited. There's also a ton of collagen protein, which is so good. I gotta keep my hair fresh, keep my nails good. Very important to me personally. So if that's your vibe, I definitely use collagen in some of my drinks throughout the day. So I love that I can also get it in this delicious birthday cake puffs. So head over to built.com, and when you use promo code LOCKED15, you will get 15% off your next order of Built Bars. That's what I do when I order from built.com. I use promo code LOCKED15 to get 15% off my next order of Built Bar. Happy snacking, folks. I'm your host, Erica Lindsay Ayala, coming back, and we're going to kick you over to Jordan Eberle. Again, one of the quotes that I pulled, and he said it a few times in a few different ways, and we all believe this, but there are better days ahead. Let's hear from Jordan Eberle, one of our alternate captains, talking immediately after the end of the Seattle Kraken season. And this is our last exit interview, at least the last one that we have video on. So let's head over to Jordan Eberle and what he had to say, reflecting on the inaugural season for the Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, I mean, I always find after a season, you need a couple weeks to kind of decompress so you get your thoughts a little bit more. I mean, the initial thought would be, obviously, it's been a tough year, I think. Obviously, anytime you miss the playoffs and you're watching teams play in the playoffs yesterday, it's hard. So, but at the end of the day, I think this organization, from obviously its inaugural season, you understand where you are. It's been first class. I mean, from the organization to the owners to everything, it's the amount of money and the commitment that they put into this team and from the fan base. It's been unbelievable. So. I just look forward to continue to build and be a part of that. And obviously, I think there's going to be a lot more better days ahead of us. Yeah, I thought we started to definitely play a little bit better. And on that, but just consistently, we were consistently playing better. I think I said this a few weeks ago. You're never as far out of it as you think you are. And once you get to that point and getting over that hump is the hardest part. And I feel like that's where we kind of are right now. So. Obviously there'll probably be some changes in the summer and everything just to make us better. And like I said, I think there's better days ahead. I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, I don't know who's going to come in or what's going to happen. But you look at the way that we played. I think obviously offensively we need to find a way to score more goals and you need to find a way to keep the puck out of your net. It's just that simple. And doing that, whether it's you adding pieces or just guys coming back and being better, and the fact that we've had a year under our belt and kind of have some groundwork helps a lot. So I think the biggest part is just trying to continue to get better. I think you don't want to take steps back. You want to just keep building. Well, I think if you look at the last 10 games, I mean, you look at some of the periods we played, and you're up 2-3-0. And then all of a sudden you take your foot off the gas, you're sitting back, and that's all teams need to get into games. And when you think you go into being more consistent, I think just playing in the situation how you did in the first couple of periods, the whole game, you do that, you set yourself up to maybe take over a game more and not, if anything, it's just not sitting back. So that I think it's almost a learning thing. You learn how to win, you learn how to play in those situations, but the only way to learn that is to get into those situations, which obviously we were. So that's a positive. And the negative is obviously sitting back and things coming at us. But like I said, it's just continuing to build and understand like we do. I think just like I said, I mean, understanding the moment and the fact that we know what we're doing wrong and trying to build and be better from there. I think you don't get experience unless you get into those situations, like I said, and just growing and learning how to handle it. I think just not only regular line mates, but I mean regular same guys, teammates. You look at some of these when I think of good power plays, or I think of good lines, the ones that stand out to me, obviously Toronto and Colorado and Boston. I mean, those guys have been together for a number of years. And this obviously being new, we've only been together for 6 months. So, I think gaining chemistry is something, to me, in a locker room, is something that's very, very important. You learn how to play as a group, and obviously this is a starting point for our team, and building that foundation. I thought we did that. So next year we'll have something to look back on, and something that we'll able to keep in the memory bank, as far as, when things are good, this is what we did. When things are bad, this is what we did. So just laying that groundwork, and then, back to your question as far as chemistry, just building, trying to continue to get better. Obviously there weren't good moments, and there's bad moments. So you got to try and find a way to replicate the good moments a lot more. I think the biggest highlight for me is just obviously the fans. They were unbelievable. I don't think I've played in front of an organization, or a fan base that just really, got behind the team through wins and losses. That was the biggest thing. I mean, I've been in teams where the fans have been amazing, but you lose and it goes the other way, and they didn't do that. They didn't do that here. I think they're just so excited to have a team. So, we want to try and win for them. For me, that was the highlight of the year, was just obviously the fans.
All right, Ebbs, better days ahead. You also heard him allude to, we don't know exactly what the roster is going to look like. We've got the offseason to talk about that. We've got the offseason to figure out who's going to join up with the Seattle Kraken, what they're going to do with some of those draft picks, either for this year, for next year, or the year after that. So all contingent on some things, but either way, it's about building the foundation. You heard Eberle essentially talking about, hey, we've gone through these scenarios before. There's a lot of upside. There's a lot of room for improvement and growth, but that also means that, hey, we've been there. We've had difficulties on the road. We've had difficulty stringing together games. I mean, the longest win streak that the Seattle Kraken has right now is 3 games. So they know what it's like to be on the other side. And now it's putting together the pieces and the building blocks to get to where they want to be, which is ultimately playing at this time of the year come next season. I love it. Always good to hear from Ebbs. Happy birthday to you, Ebbs. Coming up next on Locked On Kraken, we're going to head over to another postseason roundup. This time it does involve some Seattle Kraken prospects. That's right. We're talking the Charlotte Checkers. We are, as I said, co-parenting with the Florida Panthers. It will be after this season, it will be an affiliate of the Florida Panthers until the Coachella Valley Firebirds are up and going. The Flames on the ice. I can't wait for it. But let's see what our boys in the Charlotte Checker system are up to as they try to close out their first series in the AHL playoffs. So we talked about the playoffs a little bit. We're going to get into the Bet Online odds as the series play out. But Bet Online, let me remind you, is the #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. You can find all of the latest odds and news and sports developments, including this year's basketball playoffs, Major League Baseball scores, fights, and even NFL futures. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sports wagering information, live betting, playoffs, esports, and of course, a lot more. So head to the website today. You can also use the mobile device, and you will learn about the trends and action. BetOnline, where the game starts. All right, so let's talk about our boys at the AHL. They just took the series from Bridgeport yesterday by getting a 4-0 win over Bridgeport. Now, they lost game 3, 3-2. It was a tight game. But if you look at some of the impact players, our boy Joey Decord, our boy Max McCormick, and here's what the write-up says. The Checkers stepped up and shut out Bridgeport in Monday's Game 4, sending the Islanders packing with a decisive 4-0 win. It's a 3-1 victory in the series. Of course, it's a best-of-5 series for the AHL, and they now advance to play the Springfield Thunderbirds. Let's go. Max McCormick got the opening goal in the first 61 seconds of the contest. As someone who's watched the Seattle Kraken struggle mightily to score first, I absolutely love this. Joey Daccord made his 4th consecutive start in the playoffs and had a perfect performance between the pipes and set aside all 21 shots that came his way. Here's what Coach Kinnear had to say. It was a very tough team, very experienced, and very hard to play against. A lot of respect to that group. We played them a lot and have coached against them a lot, and they do an unbelievable job, but I'm proud of our guys. We are too, Coach. He says we played more to our identity. We were playing together as a group and more in sync and not giving up odd man rushes and breakaways. That's not a recipe for success, but tonight was. I love that. Talking about what hasn't worked in the past and what worked in this game. Kinnear on our dude, Max McCormick. Maxie has been a driver all year long. You'll love to hear it because we've signed him, we've inked him again. So for him to get it, I'm not surprised. He's been an unreal competitor and an unreal player for us and a great teammate. On our boy, Joey Daccord. Joey brings a confidence to our group and is very motivated and very focused individual. I'm proud of him, but it's all about the team and how the team played in front of him. Everyone was going tonight. I love it. What did Maxie have to say after the game? It feels great to get that win, obviously. This was such a good series with some hard-fought games. It was a good team over there, and they played hard. I'm just happy to close it out. And Maxie on Joey. He gives us a lot of confidence back there. He was huge on the PK tonight and gave us some big saves in big moments. He gives us a lot of confidence, and we know we can always count on him to make big saves. I love it. What did Joey have to say? What did he say about the defensive effort? You know, I love defense. We did such a great job in the D zone of limiting their chances. We must have set a record for block shots tonight. I feel like everything was getting blocked on the way in. Shout out to our D and our forwards. It felt like a whole game. The whole game I was yelling, nice block. And I didn't have a lot to save, so that was nice. Well, like I said, he did put away 21. It was a McCormick. Not only did he get the first goal, but he actually scored a hat trick. The series will begin on the road at Springfield with the Springfield Thunderbirds May 22nd. So we will keep you updated. As always, we thank you for making us a part of your daily listen. But now that you've listened to Locked On Kraken, it's time to go listen to Locked On NHL. The first round matchups have come and gone. We've got the second round of the playoffs up, and our Locked On NHL experts are going to cover the playoffs like no other. You will hear the latest news and opinions from local experts every Monday through Friday, available wherever you get podcasts, and of course, as well on YouTube. Until tomorrow, we're going to talk about the Charlotte Checkers a little bit more as they get ready for their series. We're going to talk about the NHL playoffs, and of course, we'll get some insight on what the Seattle Kraken are going to do with the number 4 pick and all the other picks that they have. Love to see ya. The tip of the day is let's just, make sure that we're always dancing it out. I've been watching a lot of Grey's Anatomy, so dancing it out or moving our body, just letting go of some of that stress. Some people like to tap. Some people like to just take a nap, but do something to relieve some stress and get some positive energy flowing. That's what I've got. Thank you for tuning in, and let's hold fast. Let's stay true, and I'll see you tomorrow.